Hello, everyone. I'm really hoping this is working and that you can hear me. Happy Canada Day. I'm just going to wait a few minutes for some people to jump on. I know sometimes we don't always get here right at 11 o'clock, so I thought I'd give you a minute or two just to kind of get settled and to get ready. Hopefully you have a mat or an area where you can do your yoga. And if you want to have a couple blocks with you, or even a strap, if you want to grab them now, if you didn't grab them yet, I'll just give you a moment to grab those. Otherwise, we're going to do all levels, maybe with a little bit of power in our flow today. It's going to be about an hour. We are going to start seated, so if you want to just have a little seat and wait for a minute or two, then we'll get started. I do have the live chat on. However, because I'll be teaching, I won't be able to monitor it. So I apologize if anybody jumps on that shouldn't jump on, or if anybody says anything that I can't control. I do have security settings set to not allow certain posts or posts that might be inappropriate. So hopefully all goes well. Hopefully you're all planning to do something exciting for Canada Day today. Something outdoors. Hopefully it's going to be another gorgeous day. I set up my mat so that hopefully you can see a little bit of the outdoors behind me. I know it's hard with the lighting, but I wanted some nature in the video. Just waiting another 30 seconds. I'm actually going to move myself over to my mat, taking the hat off because it's a little bit hard to do yoga with the hat on. And as you can tell, I can use the video to fix my hair and make sure I look okay for you guys. And I'm going to get seated on my mat. So welcome. Just sitting in a comfortable position. Legs crossed, or maybe even just seated on a chair to start with. And I just want you to, if you're comfortable with it, close your eyes and take a nice big inhale through the nose and a slow exhale. And as you exhale, let the shoulders just glide down the back. And then let's do that again. Nice big inhale. Exhale, slowly release, and kind of just feel yourself sink a little bit. Be a little bit heavier. Heavy but jello at the same time, if that makes sense. And then one more time. Big inhale. And exhale. So we're just going to take a moment this morning to think about all the things that we have to be grateful for living in Canada, which is a beautiful country, and most of us haven't really seen very much of it. I know I've only seen the East Coast, but we have just such beauty and bounty here. It's a wonderful place to live, and we really should appreciate the fact that we live here. I just want to take a moment to randomly, I'm going to shuffle this deck, you're going to see it, and I'm just going to pick a card, and I'm going to read it, and you can listen to what the words say and maybe ponder them as we do our class, or maybe they don't resonate with you today, and that's fine. You can just let them pass you by. But I just wanted to start the class with just a little bit of motivation, intention, and look at that. We had a card flip right over. That's the one that we were meant to read today. So I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. I'm going to read that one more time. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. Very appropriate in these times. So make sure you're seated nice and tall. We're going to start adding some movement. So just take a moment to settle in, and again, some shoulder rolls, maybe one at a time, both at the same time, and let them settle. And then just with our hands on our thighs or on our knees, we're just going to start to do Sufi rolls. So from the hips, some nice rolls, starting to engage the spine. And just notice how your body moves. So maybe we're just starting with some small movement. Maybe we just woke up. Maybe we're just getting moving for the day. Maybe our movements start to get bigger as we start to flow a bit more. Maybe we get more shoulders into it. Maybe we notice if our sits bones lift or if they both stay connected to the floor the whole time. And then just whenever it feels natural, change direction. And then this time notice if it feels different going this way. If you feel it in different places, if maybe the shoulders move differently. It's just being aware of how our body moves through space. And that's the key to mindfulness. It's really just being aware. And that's the beauty of yoga, is it makes us very mindful, keeps us in the present moment. And let's just finish out one more. Come back to sitting nice and tall. Take a nice big inhale, exhale, draw shoulders down. We're going to start to move the arms. So inhale, we sweep the arms up. Palms come together. Exhale, bring them down through the center. Release and flow this. So starting to get some movement in the shoulders. Starting to match movement with breath. And I'm going to talk a lot today about inhaling and exhaling and when to breathe. Don't get hung up with when you breathe and how you breathe. Mostly just be aware of your breath and how it moves with your body and how your body moves with your breath. Some of us take shorter breaths, some of us take longer breaths, and that's okay. So we're just going to finish out one more of those. Bring palms to heart center and pause there. Again, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, press palms together, draw shoulders down. And then let's interlace the hands, press palms up, look up if that feels comfortable. We're starting to stretch the neck a little bit too. And then if you can, bring the hands behind the head. So we're starting to open up the fronts of the shoulders and the chest. If this is uncomfortable, just bring your hands to your low back instead, or even just on your hips. And just take a breath or two here. And with your next breath, we're going to lead with the elbow and just tip a little bit, opening up the side. So we're starting to stretch our obliques, but we're opening up the lymph nodes. So we get the lymphatic system starting to move and drain. With your next inhale, come up. Exhale, change sides. Make sure you're breathing here. We're going to do that one more time to each side. Inhale to come up. Exhale to change sides. Last time, inhale to come up. Exhale, we switch. And then come back to center. Release the arms down, shake out, release. And then we're gonna bring ourselves onto all fours. So just moving yourself however you can on your mat, making sure that wrists come under shoulders, knees underneath our hips, toes can be curled or feet can be flat, just getting a little bit more movement in the spine. So inhale, we arch into cow, take a look up, opening the throat. And then exhale, we tuck in the chin, we round the back. So flowing this, inhale to open, exhale to open the backside. Noticing space that you're creating. Noticing how your body moves. Just starting to become aware of our abdominals. So engaging that light belly brace so that we're not actually pushing the muscles down and out in our cow, but we're holding them slightly strong and getting the movement in the spine. Good, let's do one more of each. And then we're going to sink back to our resting pose. So knees widen a bit, big toes come together. Extend the arms if you like. Forehead can rest on the floor. You can stack the fists or stack the hands if you like. And just take a few breaths here. So take a few breaths here. I'm just going to talk. So this is one of those, it's called resting pose, obviously. You can come here anytime you want. So if during class you need to take a break, you can come to this pose or any other pose that feels comfortable to you. So, and then just join back in whenever you're ready. I like to rock a little bit, especially when I first start doing this pose. It kind of just gets a little release in the back. So let's take one more big breath here. And then make sure we've extended the arms all the way out. Start to pick up the head, curl the toes, find downward facing dog. So let's spread those fingers. Press the palms down, push against the mat, lengthen the back. Elbows soften, even though arms are strong, head's just between the arms. And then we can bend the knees, especially if we're still a little bit tight after waking up, so that the hamstrings gently start to warm into this. And then as we breathe here, maybe we start to lengthen the legs and press the heels down. We can walk our dog here if that feels good. So alternating side to side. Maybe if one side's a bit tighter, we spend a little more time there. Let's take two more breaths here. And then just come back to stillness if you added that movement. Shift forward to our first plank. So we're going to come to the knees to start. So shoulders are over top of our wrists. We're pushing against the floor, but we soften the elbows. And we want to make sure that we're not arching the back. See what I'm doing right here? That's an arch in the back. We want to draw up so that our hips are basically in line with our shoulder, making a nice plank, kind of like a plank of wood. Take one more breath, and then keeping the elbows in nice and close to our sides. Let's lower all the way down, just warming up the back. So finding extension and then a little baby cobra here. Maybe drawing shoulders down, just gazing forward. Chin is neutral. And then use an inhale to release, curl toes, exhale to down dog. Just a breath or two here. And then we're going to take our gaze forward. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to walk the feet up to our hands. Find our first forward fold. Feet hip distance apart, stacking our joints, bending the knees, maybe a lot, at least a little bit. Release the head. Maybe we nod and shake, yes and no. We can clasp the elbows here if we're ready for that. Maybe even sway a little bit. Notice the feet. So we want all the toes touching the floor, the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot. One more breath. And then bend the knees a lot, brace, reverse swan dive, all the way up. Palms come together at the top. Bring them to heart center. I'm just going to turn to face you guys. So feet hip distance apart, finding mountain pose. So notice your feet connected to the earth. Spread your toes. Feel the whole heel. Arms are strong. So mountain pose, our whole body has a little bit of tension in it so that we're strong and immovable, just like a mountain. Lift up through the arches of your feet. You'll feel the legs get a little stronger, engaged. And then we're going to start to flow here. So we're going to start to warm up quickly. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, sweep them down. And if you've been to my class before, whenever you're ready, we start to flow our chair. So hips go down and back. We make sure we're not pushing the knees forward. And just flow with your breath. It is already getting warm where I am. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Just a few more. Building warmth and big muscles. Last time. Next time we come up, bring palms together at the top and just slide them to heart center. Pause, take a breath, press the palms together. Notice upper body engaged, draw shoulders down. Good, drop hands by your side, palms facing in. Take a nice big inhale, and as we exhale, push one foot down, and with the opposite side, start to reach towards the floor. So I'm reaching towards the floor on this side, which means this foot is pressing down. That's gonna keep my hips a little bit more square so I don't pop that hip out. What I'm doing is really lengthening the side body here, opening up lymph nodes. I can add the arm reach if I like. And make sure you're breathing here. We tend to hold our breath in these poses. One more. And then inhale to come up, press the other foot down, exhale, reach, slide, create some space. Whenever you're ready, if you're ready, add the arm reach. Breathing here. Notice the space you've created. Good, and come up, release that arm down if you extended it. Find the top of your mat if you're not still already there. Reset in mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart, draw shoulders down. This time we're gonna inhale, sweep up, exhale, swan dive, finding that fold all the way down, bracing. You're not gonna stay here. Soften knees, fingertips come down, right leg back, releasing the top of the foot. Making sure our knee is over top of our ankle. We can stay down or we can come up, brace, and push through the hips, not the belly. Opposite arm can lift if we like. Breathe here. And we can stay centered, or we can start to take this arm and twist towards that bent leg. And if we didn't have the arm up, we can just bring the hand to the outside of the knee. So we're just starting with a twist, nice and gentle, wringing ourselves out. And then inhale, back to center. Find the floor if you're not already there. Curl toes, find down dog. Spread fingers, just a breath here. Shift forward to your plank. You can stay on the toes or come to the knees. We're going to tuck those elbows in, lower all the way down. Find some length. We can make our cobra a little bit bigger this time if we like. Drawing shoulders down, opening throat a bit. Inhaling to release, exhaling to push down dog. Taking your gaze forward, picking up the right foot, sweeping it through, finding that lunge on the other side. So you want to take a moment to make sure your joints are safe, knee over top of the ankle. And of course, you can stay down, you can come up, brace, push through the hip flexor. It's a great stretch for your hip flexors. And opposite arm can lift. Breathe here. So again, you can stay centered. You can add that twist, a nice gentle twist. Just starting to wring yourself out. Come back to the center. Find the floor if you're not already there. Curl toes, step forward, feet hip distance, forward fold. Brace, reverse swan dive all the way up. Let's flow that chair again. So just breathing there. So keep going. I didn't set my timer, so I just need to make sure that I keep an eye on the time. How you doing? Are you breathing hard? Is it hot where you are? Make sure you have water. If you didn't bring water, yell at somebody. Hey, bring me some water. Let's finish out one more. And then make your way to a chair. So bring palms here to the top. Bring them to heart center. Press palms. Take a few breaths here. Bring hands to hips. Keep the feet hip distance apart. Take your right leg, step it back. Find a high lunge this time. So we bend the knees and sink. Brace, do that zipper up. Palms can be at heart. They can stay on your hips, or they can come all the way up. Just a big breath, drawing shoulders down. Maybe if you can, sink a little bit. Trying to bend knees 90 degrees. Good, push back up. Drop the back heel, we're in warrior one. So check for that big toe, you should be able to see it past the inside of your knee. Arms can be up, palms can be at heart. And then with your next inhale, find the floor again. Exhale to plank. So you can stay on the toes or you can come to the knees. Let's take 3 breaths here. Big inhale, big exhale. Bracing. Elbows are soft, squeezing our thighs. Neck is long. One more breath. And then tuck those elbows in, lowering, lifting to cobra or upward facing dog. Draw shoulders down, lifting the chin just slightly. Inhale, use the exhale to push back to down dog. Other side, let's take our gaze forward, pick up the right foot, find our high lunge on this side. So make sure we're hip distance, start to bend those knees. Great for your legs, hands where we like. Draw shoulders down. Take a few breaths. If we can, bend the knees a bit more. Warming up those big muscles, using those big muscles. Good, and then drop the heels. We start to come up, warrior one. So again, looking for that big toe past the inside of our knee. Sinking a bit more if we can. Back leg. Nice and strong, that's our supporting leg. So we press the pinky edge of that foot down. Squeeze your glute back there. And find the floor, step forward, forward fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Find that flowing chair. Hips down and back. Find your belly brace, support your spine. Maybe get a little bit lower. Last time. Finding chair, arms can stay extended this time. We can drop them in front or alongside ears. You have to brace a little bit harder. We're using more core. We've lengthened the lever. Bring hands to hips. Right leg steps back. Find that high lunge. Breathe. Hands where we like. Sink. Press down in the feet, especially that front foot. Spread your toes. Press down in the heel. Good. Come partway up. Drop the heel. Find warrior one. So you'll notice I just got a little bit wider. Looking for my big toe. Back leg long and strong. Squeeze that glute. This leg is your supporting leg. It's very strong. So that knee shouldn't be bent and caved in like I just did. Press. Pinky edge of the foot down. Open up. Shoulders over hips. Warrior two. Look to the front. Breathe. Brace. So instead of moving quickly, we're going to use a little bit of endurance. So shift forward as if you're reaching. Pause. 3 breaths. Keep bending this front leg. 1 more breath. Then either the forearm comes down and we open up, or we reach to the block on the floor and open up. Take a look up if you like. Make sure you're squeezing bottom ribs. We want to open up the shoulders. This is a twist. Keep bending through the knee. Breathe through it. And then use your next exhale to draw back up. Front palm flips up. We go backwards. Reverse warrior. So we're reaching for the ceiling. We're reaching for the floor or the sky and the ground. And then sink. Breathe. Your thighs. Happy. Believe it or not. Might not feel like it. Exhale to warrior 2. Good job. Windmill. Find the floor. Find your plank. Pause there. 3 breaths. On the toes or on the knees. Push, brace. Squeeze thighs. Neck's long. 1 more breath. Tuck those elbows in. Lowering to cobra or upward facing dog. Opening chest. Use your next exhale to find down dog. Side 2. Let's pick up the right leg, sweep it through, find that high lunge. Now I'm just going to turn around because it's easier to see. Basically, sink. Brace. Do that zipper up, hands where we like. Press down through that front foot especially. Oh, sweating. Hopefully you're sweating a little bit too. I have a friend who says when you're sweating, it's your fat crying. So cry, baby, cry. Let's drop that heel down, find warrior 1. I'm going to readjust. I like to get wider. I want to work my thighs a little bit more so I can get lower. Up to you. You can pull back if you need to. Check in with that back leg. Squeeze, remember it's your support. Pinky edge of the foot, pressing down. Let's turn those shoulders. Find warrior 2. Try to sink. Look to the front. So you're a warrior. Strong. Yet graceful at the same time. Let's shift forward, pause. So if you're reaching for something. And it's summer, so it's not the remote control. And bring the forearm to thigh or reach beyond that. Find our side angle. Arm can be up or it can reach past the ear. Breathe here. So again, we're squeezing the ribs so we can turn and open the shoulders. It's a bit of a twist. So we want to create space in the front body. Top arm doesn't have to be up. It can be to the low back. 1 more breath. And then exhale, draw back up to warrior 2. Check in with that big toe. Front palm flips up. Exhale, we go backwards. So we reach up and we reach down. Dynamic tension in those arms, creating lots of space in those front ribs. Back ribs, we're going to squeeze a little bit, see if we can open up just a little bit more. Take 1 more breath here. Good. Listen to my words. Windmill. Find the floor. Find your plank. On the toes or on the knees. So you want to make sure you brace that core. You're nice and long. Breathe here. 1 more breath. You can do it. Tuck those elbows in. Lower, find your back bend. Open up the chest. Use your exhale to find down dog. Pause there. Take a few breaths there. Resting pose if you need it. Walk your dog if you like. Maybe lift up a leg. Shake it out. Move the hips. Whatever feels good in this moment before we move on. Good. Find 1 more breath. And then we're going to walk or jump our feet up towards our hands. Find forward fold. Pause there. Take a couple breaths. So again, we can clasp our elbows. We can bring our arms behind the legs. We can release head and neck. Shake, nod. I like to finish with the nods. I'm always ending on a positive note. 1 more breath. Trying to get a little more length in the backs of the legs, those hamstrings. And then bend the knees, brace, reverse swan dive all the way up, coming right to our chair. So arms can stay long or palms can be at heart center. 3 big breaths here. Maybe getting a bit lower. So we sink those hips down and back. Make sure we're not pushing the knees forward. Knees are coming back towards the ankles. 1 more breath. Good, and then bring hands to hips. Step your right leg back. Find that high lunge. So again, I'm just gonna turn. Makes it easy for me to see. Not that I can see you guys, but at least I can make sure I'm in the right spot. And we sink. Brace. Sink a little lower if you can. Press that front foot. Spread the toes, press the heel down. Good job. All right, drop the back heel, warrior 1. Check for the big toe. Maybe get a bit wider. Create that space. Brace, sink. And breathe. Just keep breathing. Back leg long and strong. Your next exhale, find warrior 2. Breathe here, look forward. Sink a bit if you can. Holy sweat. Woo! Love it. All right, we're gonna shift forward and pause. 3 breaths. So you're engaging that core a little bit more here. Shoulders are down. And then we're gonna find that side angle. So again, arm can rest on the leg, or we can come all the way down, or you can attempt binding. And you can have the arm come underneath the leg, not under the crotch, and reach the other arm around. So your choice. If you have the openness in the shoulders to do that, up to you. If not, stay with where we were. Back leg's still strong. 1 more breath. And then exhale, draw back up, warrior 2. And then we're gonna straighten that leg. Whew. So we just wanna make sure the knee's not locked. And again, we're gonna tip forward, but then we're gonna tip like a pot of tea pouring and find triangle. So hand can rest on the shin. It can come above the knee, never on the knee joint, or it can reach past towards the floor, or if you have a block, to your block. I actually like the block here. I can press against it, get some traction so I can really open up. So again, you're squeezing the ribs on the bottom side to open up the chest. It's a twist. Top arm can be up, it can be to the low back. Maybe you roll that shoulder open a bit more. If you want to challenge your balance, take a look up. And then notice your feet. Press down the feet. Remember, they're like the foundation of a house. So a strong foundation holds the rest of the house up. 1 more breath here. And then exhale, come up. Keep that leg straight. Front palm flips up. Reverse warrior, straight leg. So this time we can take that back arm, bring it to the low back, open up a bit more. Create some space between the ribs. So stretching the intercostals, pressing down on those feet. Notice the feet. Notice your foundation. Notice your breath. Okay, here we go. Windmill all the way down. Find your plank. Knees or toes. 3 breaths. Draw shoulders down. Push. Soften elbows. Neck is long. Breathe here. Strong legs, whether you're on knees or toes. 1 more breath. And then tuck the elbows in. Lower. Find your back bend, creating that space before you lift. Not lifting the chin too high, but opening the throat a bit. Exhale to down dog. Take a breath, maybe 2 here, before we change sides. And then picking up our right leg, sweeping it through, finding our high lunge on the other side. So feet hip distance. That gives you stability. Remember? Brace, sink, arms wherever we like. Draw shoulders down. Wherever the hands are. Try to get a bit lower. 1 more breath. And then we're going to drop that heel. Warrior 1. Maybe get a bit wider. Look for that big toe. Strong supporting leg. Breathe. Your breath. The next exhale, find warrior two. Sink a bit if you can. Strong arms, warrior arms. Shift forward, pause, 3 breaths. Brace, engaging a little more core here. Check in with that back leg. Remember, we don't want it to collapse in. It's strong and supporting us. Tip, let's find that side angle. So again, we can rest the arm, find a block or the floor, or we can choose to bind. So when you're binding, you want to make sure that the arm comes underneath the knee, or even maybe mid-thigh. We don't want to come across into the crotch area. We want to keep it up here. Okay? If we can't maintain that, come back to where we were. All right? One more breath. Check in with that back leg. And then exhale, push up, straighten, and shift forward. Let's find our triangle here. So again, never pressing on the knee. Knee is soft. We're not locking that joint. Squeeze the ribs facing the floor so we can open up and extend. Arm can be up or arm can be down. Looking up may challenge your balance. And then check in with those feet. Press them both firmly. One more breath. Press down through the feet, brace, exhale, draw yourself up. Front palm flips up. We go backwards, straight leg reverse warrior. Arm can come to the low back or even up the back a little bit, and we can open up by tipping a little bit. So creating space between the ribs. Breathe here. One more breath. And then we're gonna windmill. Find the floor, find our plank. Pause, 3 breaths. Draw shoulders down, find that brace. Remember knees or toes. If you need to come to resting pose for a moment, feel free. One more breath. Tuck the elbows in, lower, lengthen, lift, opening, breathing. Let's hold here for 3 breaths. So if you're an up dog or a full cobra, press through the tops of the feet. See if you can find a little more extension. Maybe yes, maybe no. Last breath here. Inhale, release down. Exhale to resting pose. And make it your own. So maybe we stack the hands or fists. I like to bring the elbows to the floor and the hands behind my head, which I just heard someone call a namaste shark. How awesome is that? So take a few breaths there. Maybe you rock a little bit. Maybe you take a drink at this point. Maybe you wipe the sweat off your face like I'm doing right now. Whew. Good job. All right, one more breath. Extend the arms. And then lift yourself up. Find down dog. Walk or jump the feet up to your hands. Forward fold. Hold for 3 breaths. So maybe the legs are starting to lengthen here a bit. We've done it a few times. The muscles are warm now. We can release the head. Shake, nod. And then soften the knees a little bit more. That's what protects your back. Brace, reverse swan dive all the way up. Find your chair. 3 breaths here. So again, hips going down and back, knees pulled back over top of ankles, and then spread your toes. Even though your weight's a little bit more dominant in the heels, you want to spread the toes to ground yourself. Last breath here. Maybe get a bit lower. And then exhale, push up to stand. Find mountain pose. Whew. All right, check in. Feet hip distance. We're gonna do a little bit of balancing. So we spread our toes. I, for some reason, start with my hands on my hips, and then they migrate to other places as I balance. So up to you what you want to do with your arms, whatever you're comfortable with. Let's spread our toes on one foot, doesn't matter which one. And we're gonna pick up the other knee. So if our balance is challenged today, we can leave the toes on the ground and have that light connection. Otherwise, knee about in line with our hip. Palms can come to heart if we like. We can open up for a little more stability. And then we're gonna take this ankle, the foot that's in the air, cross it on the opposite knee and let this knee drift open. I like to help it with my hand. Good, I'm gonna bring palms back to heart center, brace. We're gonna sink in our chair. So a standing pigeon pose. Press the palms together if they're together. We can also have the arms opened up. We can also take them up. Breathe, find a focal point, a dristi, spot to focus on, helps with your balance and that belly brace, do your zipper up. One more breath. Exhale, come tall, just lift the knee, pause, flex the foot. Be as tall as you can. And then release. Shake out that ankle if you need to. We do the same thing on side two. Might feel totally different on side two. Just depends on our dominant side. And if we have an injury on one side, it depends on a lot of factors, even which way the wind is blowing today, all right? So spread your toes, ground yourself. When you're ready, start to pick up the opposite leg. And again, maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you can maintain some contact with the floor. Hands wherever you like. If and when you're ready, cross the ankle and the knee, let this hip open up, okay? You can stay right here or brace and start to sink like you're sitting. Breathe. Hips down and back, neck is long, just gazing forward at a spot to help you focus your mind. We are in this present moment. Arms can extend, they can be out to the side, shoulders down wherever you are. One more breath. And then exhale, we stand. Just pick up the knee, pause, flex the foot. Be as tall as you can. And then release. And again, shake out that ankle if you need to. Shake out both legs if you need to. Find your drink, shake out the whole body if you want to. You could move into ecstatic dance. Not right now. And then find the top of your mat. And if you grabbed a strap, I didn't grab one today, but I'll tell you when you can use it or where you can use it to make it more effective and to get a better stretch. For now, find mountain. Take a few breaths, reground yourself. Spread your toes, press the whole heel down. Belly's braced, so we get that sensation of doing up a zipper, tight pants. And then when you're ready, inhale, sweep up, soften the knees, brace, swan dive, fold. Breathe here. And again, we can release the head and neck. One more breath. And then bend the knees so the hands can be on the floor. Walk or jump back to your plank. Good, and then drop to your knees if you're not already there. So we're gonna come to a side plank. So you're gonna kick. Let's all kick our left leg out. So it's gonna come off the mat like a kickstand. Bring your left hand so your wrist is under the shoulder, and then pull your whole right side up. Okay, so just like that twisting we were doing in our triangle, same thing, but now the whole body is turned to the side. Arm can be up, arm can be down, and we can lift that extended leg, flex the foot. So that leg is no higher, that foot's no higher than our hip. Breathe here. Maybe we take the arm past the ear, get as long as we can. Strong supporting hand. One more breath. If the leg is lifted, gently bring it back down. Turn the body, kick the other side out. Same thing. We're gonna pull up the left side. So strong supporting hand. Spread the fingers. We can lift the top leg, flex the foot. Arm can go long if we like. Breathe here. So using our obliques, the sides of our abdominals, the muscles that help us bend and twist. One more breath. If that leg is lifted, lower it down. Come back to the center, tuck the elbows in, lower down. Just a small, tiny cobra. So we should be able to pick the hands up off the floor here. We're using just the back, the erector spinae. And then press your toes down on the floor. Just gazing forward. Good. Release, curl toes, find down dog. Take a breath or two. So we're gonna do that side plank with the option to be on the toes instead of the knee. So shift forward to your plank. So if you want to do what we just did, come to the knees, do that kickstand leg. Otherwise, you're going to rock so the right side picks up. So your feet are scissored. Brace, and we can pick up that top leg if we're ready. Breathe. Remember, top arm doesn't have to be up. I find it gives me more balance, especially if the leg is lifted. And so if we lift the leg, gently bring it down. We're going to turn and switch sides. So if you're lifting the leg, make sure you're set up first, you're stable, you're strong, and then if you're ready, pick up that leg. Breathe. One more breath. If we lift the leg, gently bring it down, come back to the center, tuck the elbows lower, find length, small cobra. So we're not using the arms. You can even stretch the wrists here if you like. Press the toes down so you can get a little more extension. And then release, push to resting pose. Just take a couple of breaths here. Maybe rock a little bit. And then extend the arms, pick up the head, shift all the way forward, and lower down. So we're going to do a little bit more work for the back. Okay, so hands just underneath our shoulders, find length, and lift. Breathe. So if we want a little bit more here, take the arms out to the sides. Press your feet into the mat. Breathe here. Breathe here. Just gazing forward, bracing. Now, wherever you are, if you like, pick up the feet and maybe get a little bit higher off the floor. Breathe here. And then release, stack the hands or the fists, rest the chin, bend your legs, windshield wipe. Just release the back, release the hips. So we're going to do one more back bend. So you can go back to what we just did, or you can come to a bow pose. Bow pose requires a lot of extension in the back, so I'll leave it up to you. If you get into the bow pose and you want to come back to cobra or the extension, feel free, okay? So find that length first. So we already know what we already did, right? So you can stick with that. Bow pose, you're going to find your ankles. You're going to make sure you get that length in the back, and then we lift. So we're opening up the shoulders. We're getting a little bit of a belly press, which starts to release serotonin, makes us happy, believe it or not. Breathe. Press the feet into the hands, and maybe lift just a little bit more. Find your breath here. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then release, push back to resting pose. Good job. Whew. And then let's pick ourselves up, scooch the legs out in front, and we sit on our sits bones. So let's just bring the bottoms of the feet together to start. And you can tuck them in, maybe about the distance of your foot away from your body. Draw shoulders down, do that zipper up. So we want to keep the back and the neck nice and long here, so we don't want to round. And we're just going to start to fold. And you might not get very far. That's okay. Just breathe. Just breathe through it. I'm going to bring the clock a little closer to me. No, it's already 1:45. Holy. Exhale. Try to fold a little deeper. Keeping the back long. So we lead with the chest. Maybe forearms come down, the hands come down. Breathe. We also have the option to hold on to the ankles or the big toes and maybe use the elbows to just gently open up. Breathe here. One more breath. And then come all the way up. So we're going to take one leg out, doesn't matter which. Tuck the other foot in. If hips are tight, we can always use a block or a pillow or a lift. So we want to be on those sits bones. We want to turn so we're facing that long leg. We're going to flex the foot, zipper up. Exhale, we fold. So this is where you can use the strap. You can put it around the bottom of the foot, making sure it's not in the middle of the arch, but higher up by the toes. So we keep that foot safe, and we can use it to keep the back nice and long as we fold. Otherwise, if we have the flexibility, keeping the back nice and long, we can just place the hands on the leg. And use exhales to fold. Maybe we find the foot. There's nothing special about finding the foot. Typically, our feet are pretty dirty, especially this time of year. Couple more breaths. Use the exhale to try to fold a little bit more. Keeping shoulders down, neck nice and long. Last breath here. And then we're gonna walk ourselves up. We're gonna pick up this leg, cross it over top, both sits bones on the floor, and then just tuck this knee in. And maybe we stay right here. Take a breath or two. Maybe we start to add a twist. So inhale, we lift up. We're gonna hug this knee, get it right in the crook of that arm, and then exhale, we turn, looking behind us. And maybe the arm comes to the floor behind us. Maybe we just cradle the leg. I find cradling the leg gives me a bigger stretch in my glute, so it's up to you. And let the breath flow here. So we tend to hold the breath when we twist. Just breathe through it. And maybe use the exhale to twist a little deeper. Last breath. And then use your next exhale to come back to center. Release this leg. We're going to change sides. So the other foot comes in. And again, you can use that lift. This leg is nice and long. We're going to flex that foot. Keep the heel on the floor and knee is soft. Using your strap if you have it. Otherwise, just use the arms. All of us, inhale, lengthen, exhale, keep long and fold. Breathe. So our body is nice and warm now from all that movement we did, those standing poses. So we're able to get a little deeper into these types of stretches, which is why we put them at the end of a yoga class. And then the whole purpose of yoga, in the event you didn't know this, is to warm the body so that we're able to sit comfortably in stillness for long periods of time. So it's a preparatory thing for meditation. We'll keep the meditation short today, though, I promise. Exhale, a little bit more. One more breath. And then with the next exhale, come up. Pick up this leg, cross it over, both sits bones on the floor, and you can just hug that knee in. Sitting up nice and tall, you're gonna get a bit of a stretch in that glute, maybe even in the sciatic nerve down the side of the leg. Try to keep the long leg, the foot flexed if you can. Otherwise, inhale, crook to the knee, and exhale, we twist. So again, hand can come to the floor, or we can just cradle the leg. Breathe here. One more breath here. And then come back to center. So let's take both the legs out, give them a little shake, make sure we're on our sits bones. Let's do our zipper up nice and tall. So we're gonna come to first a staff pose and then a fold. So staff is actually much more challenging than people think. It's a lot of core work, believe it or not. So we wanna embrace that core. We're gonna flex again the feet, but we wanna keep the knees soft and our heels are always touching the floor. So sitting up as tall as we can just place the arms on the floor beside us. So we're not pushing, they're just gently resting there to remind us to keep long. And we draw those shoulders down. If we want more, we pick the arms up. So we lengthen the lever and it becomes more challenging for the core to maintain this position. Breathe, draw shoulders down. Almost as if there's a string and it's pulling you up right from the crown of the head. Good, nice long spine here. Last breath. And then we're going to bring the arms down by our side if they're not already there. So we're going to bring them so they're more underneath our shoulders, even out a little bit further. I'm going to keep the legs nice and strong and come to a reverse plank. I'm just making sure I don't hit my head on the table here. So we're just going to push with the hands and lift. So maybe we only get a little bit up. We try to push as high as we can. We're going to open up those shoulders, let the head just come back a little bit. And if you can, roll your big toes in towards each other. And then breathe here. So imagine that plank that we did. We did lots of them, right? Facing down. Now we're facing up, and we want to create that same amount of space and pressure and length. It's a tough one. One more breath. Try to lift those hips. Good, and then release down. Whew, good job. So I'm just going to turn sideways here. So just grabbing one knee or both knees, allow yourself to roll down, maybe a quick hug and a rock. And then bringing the feet flat on the floor, knees bent. So you want to make sure that your ankles are underneath your knees and your feet are about hip distance apart. Palms down by your side. We're going to come to a bridge. So let's take a nice big inhale and exhale, push against the floor, lift, create space beneath you, roll chest towards chin. And maybe we interlace the hands beneath us and kind of shimmy to the back edges of our shoulders. So creating a little more space. Press down through both feet, spread the toes, press the heels down, engaging posterior chain. A little stretch in the front, the anterior side of the body. One more breath here. And then gently lower yourself down. Hug one knee in. Send the other leg out, flex that foot. Change sides. And then we're going to come back to the bridge with the option to try wheel today. So both feet planted. For wheel, I actually like to take my feet a little bit wider. It gives me more stability. So bridge, we did it. You already know what to do. Either option, wheel, hands come up. So the fingers are pointing towards your shoulders, elbows pointing towards the ceiling. Find length in the back, and then exhale, push and lift. Breathe. So notice where you're connected to the floor. Remember the foundation of your house. Press down the feet. If you're up and wheel, press down the hands. Elbows are soft. 2 more breaths. And then gently lower all the way down. Let's hug both knees into our chest. Maybe rock, maybe make some circles. And then again, placing the feet on the floor. So we're gonna just stretch that hip a little bit. So let's pick up our right leg and just like standing pigeon, cross the ankle on the knee, push this knee open, and you can stay right here. Take a breath or two. And if we're ready, pick up the other leg and just hang on to the back of the leg. To deepen this stretch with an exhale, we just draw the leg in a little closer. So just find your breath, let it flow here. Just a few more breaths. Last one. And then place the foot down if you lifted it. Change sides. So opening that hip, maybe that's enough right there. Otherwise, we pick up the leg, hands hold on to the back of the leg, flexing the foot that's crossed at the ankle. That's going to keep your joints safe. Just a couple more breaths here. And again, drawing in to deepen that stretch. Place the foot down if you lifted it. Both feet come down. A quick windshield wipe just to reset the hips and the low back. And then we're going to come into a hamstring stretch, which is going to be one of our last stretches here. So coming back to stillness, let's hug the right knee in and then extend it up. So this is where you can also use the strap around the bottom of your foot to extend the leg. Otherwise, we just hold on to the leg, making sure it's not the knee joint, but above or below. Point and flex the foot a few times. See how that feels. And then flex, exhale, draw in. And if you want to deepen this stretch, send the other leg out and flex that foot. And if that's too much, just bring the knee in again. And then breathe. Breathe into the back of this leg. So we can get a little more depth in our stretch. If we actually pull back, bend the knee, and then extend again. And if we do that a few times, you might notice that you get a little more length at the end of the day. And remember, a millimeter is still a little bit more. Breathe. One more breath. Use the exhale to draw in and then release that foot down. Hug the other knee in. When you're ready, extend it up. So again, using that strap if you're using it. Otherwise, just making sure you're not holding the joints. We always want to keep our joints safe. We can point and flex a few times. See how that feels. And then if we like, send the other leg out. Flex that foot. So by flexing that foot, we're just basically keeping the hips in a neutral position, nice and squared off. It's all about joint safety. There's nothing wrong if you let the foot kind of flop open. There's nothing wrong with that. But just notice the difference if you do and if you flex the foot. Good, one more breath. Exhale, draw in. And then release that foot down. Let's bring the bottoms of the feet together, reclined butterfly, and arms to goalpost arms to stretch out the shoulders and the chest. So let's inhale, press the bottoms of the feet together, and then exhale, let everything release. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, press the bottoms of the feet together, push, push, push. And then exhale, release. Release the glutes. Last time, inhale, press, maybe even squeeze your glutes. And then release everything. Like you're kind of melting into your mat. And then just find your breath. 3 big breaths here. So nice big inhale. Let the belly rise. Let the lungs fill. The chest lifts. And then release. A couple more just like that. Maybe finding a little more release in the glutes than the hips with each exhale. Finishing this breath here. And when it's done, let's just find final relaxation or shavasana. So let's take the legs out straight. You can also keep them bent if you like, or you can stay in that reclined butterfly position. Bring the arms out by your side. Take a nice big inhale and try to let everything go. So just do a scan from head to fingertips to toe tips. And notice if you're holding anything and try to release. So we're going to take about 10 big breaths here. And with each exhale, try to find a little more release. You can close the eyes if you like. Inhaling through nose, exhaling through nose or mouth. Your choice. And if as you're lying here, the mind starts to wander, just come back to that breath. Let the exhale be long. Maybe you count how long it is. I'm just finishing a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, start to add soft, gentle movement, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe gently turning your head side to side, maybe exhaling through the mouth, maybe rocking the hips a little bit. And if you're ready, bending the knees, either windshield wiping the knees or hugging them into your chest, rocking side to side, or making some circles. And then extending your right arm and rolling onto your right side so you have the arm to rest your head on. And just take a few breaths there. So we've got the body in a little more relaxed state now. We want to keep our movements soft and gentle. And then using your left arm, gently rolling yourself up to a seated position, whatever that is to you in this moment. And let's just take a few breaths here. Allow the shoulders to draw down. And I'm just going to revisit that card that I drew at the beginning of class. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So you can carry those words with you today. Or maybe today they don't resonate with you, and at some point they may or may not. Let's take a nice big inhale. Exhale love, send it out to the world, to the people in your life, to each other. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, big inhale. Exhale, release. Let's bring our palms to our heart center. Feel the heat we've generated between those hands. And the light and love in me shines the light and love in each of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for practicing with me. Please feel free to email your feedback if you liked this format. And enjoy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day. Namaste. Bye, everybody.